But I wanted to talk about this, guys. So we have an amazing ad from Kat Abugazale, and she's one of the people who, we've said a number of times that now we have people running that are like our people, who she worked for Media Matters for America, and she is like a actual lefty.
Out there getting assaulted by ICE.
Literally, yes.
And sexually assaulted, yes.
Yes. And so she's running in what state is she running in?
In Illinois.
Oh, it's in Illinois. Okay.
Chicago.
She's running against this guy, Daniel Biss, and then there's another person she's running against. And here's the new ad that she's running. Check this out.
The richest country on earth? Kat isn't a millionaire. She doesn't take PAC money. She can't even afford health insurance herself. How can she possibly relate to normal, hardworking corporations like you and me? And it gets worse. As a journalist, Kat's reporting helped lead to Tucker Carlson's departure from Fox News. Is that who you want fighting extremists in Washington? Kat claims the Democratic Party should not bow down to Trump or his billionaire friends. Does she think strongly worded letters count as bowing? Kat Abugazale represents a new generation of progressive Democrats working to redefine the party's future. And she plans to do it with her ferocious attack cat by her side. Is this who you want representing us?
I never watched it through to the attack cat part. That was the best.
How fucking cool is that? How cool is that? That's just such a good ad.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, J.D. Vance, he warned of the childless cat lady, and here we are.
Here she is. He was right. Yeah, it was a slippery slope. I feel a little bad for Daniel Biss in a sense in this race. You're about to see some clips of him that don't look too great. But, in another contest, he would be he's sort of like an Elizabeth Warren type progressive or like a Liz Smith type, a Tallarico Lane candidate. And she just outflanks him hard. And it's a Chicago Democratic primary, so it's very blue area. It was held by Jan Schakowsky, who was like very popular, longtime incumbent. She decided not to run again. And I think
she was popular. She was popular in like the 1940s, right?
Yeah, roughly, approximately then. But anyway, she's still got her fans. But yeah, so you've got this kind of three-way split. And the danger is that Biss and Kat both kind of occupy this progressive lane. So there's a possibility that this other lady whose name I don't remember, but who totally sucks, they could divide the more progressive vote and then she could kind of sneak through. So that's a little bit of the concern.
The polls I've seen right now is that Biss is actually leading.
Yeah.
And then Kat and
the other one.
It's very
close between him and Kat.
And Kat and the other one I saw were tied. It was like 18%, 17%, and then Biss was at like 22% or something. So it's anybody's ball game. But you pull up the next one too, because she's also having some incredible debate moments that I wanted to share with you guys.
I do think Biss has some motion.
You think he's got some motion? All right, let's watch this and we'll see what we think of his motion.
My great-grandfather had a hotel. And when they were expelled, he carried around the key ring to every single door in his hotel till the day he died. He was buried.
And he was he lived in Palestine?
Yes, my father's side is Palestinian. And if someone came to me and said, you could have the hotel, but you displaced 300 people, I would say absolutely not, because trauma begets trauma. But I think it's really important that any solution has full civil and legal rights for everyone living there, regardless of their ethnicity, their religion, and that is decided by the people who actually live there, because we spend so much of our time as a country interfering in other countries and saying that we dictate how they live, and it's just made places worse.
All right, so Palestinian American, two Jewish Americans on this panel do believe there is an anti-Semitism problem
Absolutely.
in the United States.
And I've devoted my career to fighting it. I cover the far right. Conspiracy theories are inherently rooted in anti-Semitism, which is why it's so dangerous to align with far-right donors, because they're pushing the Great Replacement theory, which has inspired almost every mass shooting of the 21st century.
What about anti-Muslim sentiment, anti-Palestinian sentiment?
Hate is
Horrible
hate.
problem. It's a horrible problem.
And I think we need to go back to something that Kat said that I agree with. When we figure out...
Bro, they're all agreeing with her. It's crazy.
Pretty good moment.
Just like killing it.
Yeah, she's been awesome on it. And she's been like really aggressive too, which is like what the left needs to be right now. Really aggressive to the Democratic Party that's trying to just kind of like cut around the edges on like all these issues. And I think that the ICE thing is going to be a secret gift to a leftist candidate in 28, because if everyone else is on there going, oh, well, we gotta,
body cameras.
well, we got to teach them the rules. Like,
they need better training. That's my favorite one is like, the problem is the training. And then you see the people who are like murdering Americans in the street and they've been with ICE for 10 years.
Yeah. The guy who was at January 6th.
Plenty well trained.
The guy who was at January 6th with the swastika tattoo on his neck, he needs better training.
Yeah. Right. That's the issue is the training there.
But also, it's a gift. It's a gift to someone who really wants to run, whether it's a Ro Khanna or maybe a Graham Planner. Like that, they can be really clear on this subject and people really respond to it. So I think it's awesome.
And we got one more Kat video here, which is showing you all these videos, y'all, because she's cooking. Take a look at this one.
AIPAC doesn't want a two-state solution.
Do you support any aid to Israel? Or could that?
Yeah, I
could
support, for example, defensive weaponry. I support Iron Dome.
Ms. Abu Ghazali, any aid to Israel at all?
Defensive weaponry is an oxymoron. Weapons are inherently offensive, and for any ally.
Do you support Iron Dome?
No, I don't support any. We need to condition all aid to any country, any ally. It doesn't matter if it's Israel
so
or if
Iron
it's
Dome
Mexico.
was where they shoot down
missiles that are coming in.
Right. If we aren't using our leverage, there is no reason to condition any aid. We absolutely should be supporting our allies, but they have to follow our own laws first. It's not that. You're conditioning aid.
There's more to it. I've been to Israel. I've been in the bomb shelters. I've been to the borders. They are being attacked constantly at every angle. If you do not fund something like the Iron Dome, the amount of death and destruction would be incredible, not just to the Israelis in Israel, but also to the Palestinians.
She's really protecting the Palestinians with Iron Dome.
Yeah, the Palestinians, yeah, exactly. The multiple hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who were murdered. Iron Dome's existence really protected them. That's why I said you cut off that woman's an idiot.
Kat then goes on to say, like, well, I can't go to Israel because I'm worried I'll be detained. So how about that? But I think what you see in both those clips, to your point, Griffin, is like, this is a little preview, all these primaries, a little preview of how 2028 is going to play out.
That's
and
right.
You can see, like, there you've got the full range. You've got the, like, the Josh Shapiro type Democrat. You've got the, whoever's going to occupy that, like, trying to be maybe that's Gavin Newsom, like, trying to pretend like he's progressive, but he's not really progressive, and Daniel Biss. And then you've got Kat, who, whether it's AOC or Roe AOC's got some issues here. But anyway.
AOC's, like, addicted to, like, being yelled at and, like, pivoting. Like, she loves to get yelled at and fold. Like,
that's so true. But let's imagine a Graham Plattner occupying that lane, right? The person who can just come out and say, no aid, and no ICE. Like, they need to, not only do they need to be abolished, they need to be prosecuted. This is where some 80-90% of the Democratic base is. And it's just so appealing to have someone who's not doing this mealy mouth, well, this kind of weapon, but not that kind of weapon. And you don't really understand. Let me tell you about why this isn't really genocide, blah, blah, blah.
Should we have given Iron Dome to the Iranians or the Russians?
Right, exactly.
Right? Like, if it's not an endorsement.
Or Hamas,
if it's not an endorsement of their offensive policies, then why wouldn't you give Iron Dome to, like, every country around the world?
You're just protecting the civilians. They're defensive-only weapons. Like, obviously, in that context, everyone knows it's ridiculous.
And if Israel is truly as vile as they appear to be, this is kind of like saying we should have given Iron Dome to the Nazis. It's like preposterous. No, we see they're doing a genocide. They're in the wrong. So any sort of weapons for them are just an absolute catastrophe and an absolute disaster. And there is no distinction between offensive and defensive weapons. Like she said, it's an oxymoron. I never thought of it in those terms, but I think that's exactly right.
Also, the Iron Dome fucking sucks. We saw when Iran, like, sent all those missiles, it didn't do shit. We had to come in, like, with our ships to, like, block most of those missiles. Like, the Iron Dome kind of sucks as a thing, like, in general. Like, so we're giving money to something that doesn't even work. So, I'd be like, if it worked, I'd be like, okay, like, I get why they want to keep it. So yeah, that's all great. And then, like, with the 28 stuff, I wanted to give a small anecdote. So Crystal got me into a fundraiser in LA for Dr. Abdul El Sayed, who's running for Senate candidate in Michigan. This was an LA fundraiser hosted by a Pod Save America as well. So this was like, this is a liberal stronghold, okay? Like, this is Hancock Park, West LA, liberal fucking stronghold. And it blew my mind. Like, it was a bunch of old, rich LA people in their thin, expensive coats. You've got resist signs on the wall. You've got an Emmy on the shelf.
Wow.
It's got everything, this house. And all these fucking old people are like, genocide, fuck AIPAC, oligarchy. I'm like, what is happening in this room? Like, it made me really realize the Democrats have no idea what's coming.
No,
they
don't.
No idea the avalanche that is coming for them. And I never seen anything like it, because 4 or 5 years ago, this might have been like a K-hive. This might have been, probably Biden over Bernie. And the tide shift is so radical. It's insane.
I really think, part of it is, like, the biggest part of it is just how insane Trump is and how much the establishment Democrats failed in preventing fascism. That's the biggest part of it. But I do think an undercurrent there, too, ties back into what we were saying about AI, which is like, the working class got radicalized in a lot of sense in like a reactionary way because of the outsourcing of all these blue collar jobs, the destruction of all these blue collar jobs. And now you have them coming for the white collar jobs. And yes, that's going to radicalize people. There's no doubt about it. So there's it throughout history. Usually it's actually the like elite class or would-be elites when the pathway into a comfortable life and being part of the sort of respected class, when that's closed off, that's when you actually see revolutions. And so that's what's starting to bubble. And we were talking about this yesterday with Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, because she's a quintessential, like, not even she really positioned herself at like the right of the Democratic Party and was constantly punching left and, wins running as this like national security Democrat. We, watched all the ads here in Virginia where she's like, I was a CIA officer protecting the country, blah, blah, blah. And then she gets in there and she's acting like a progressive. And Republicans are furious about it. And we were saying, okay, well, what's going on here? And I think it's not only that she's savvy enough to read a bit of that mood shift, but also she's an affluent suburban white lady. And she's in circles of other affluent suburban white ladies who, to your point, are now like, abolish ICE, like fucking lock these people up. It's a genocide. Like, they are not, let's like protect our neighbor. It's not the squishy language anymore. This is like much harder, clear-cut, ideological language, and those are the waters she's swimming in. So I think that's part of why she's come into office and been much more aggressive than I expected her to be.
They're all Jennifer Welch now.
Yep.
Everybody's Jennifer Welch now.
Yep, that's exactly right.
It's that meme of MAGA saying, what radicalized you, to a lefty, and they get close and they say, you.
It's true. I don't know if I've seen that meme.
Oh, you haven't seen that one?
No.
Yeah.
Do you think that will burn out, though, guys? Like, kind of a double question, but like, once Trump is gone or like in his lame duck period, and then it's just kind of about like the future, it seems to me that the biggest enemy still for like people like you guys on the left is like the Democratic Party still, and them trying to kind of like, sweep it all under the rug and like keep it moving, keep things running along. And I feel that a lot with the term like progressive, and I wonder what you guys thought about that. But like, progressive is like not a word that I usually like rocking with candidates, because it kind of just means like I'm for the good stuff, not the bad stuff. And that could mean, we need to do a more refined capitalism. We need to do liberal Zionism. We need to be progressive, but that can mean all sorts of things in an umbrella that is kind of pretty vague. And I feel like people that like are actually on like the hardcore left as candidates, like, should probably like, I don't know, they need to maybe I think do away with the term, because it basically opens the door to a lot of hacks.
I don't see anybody really using it anymore much. I do see people sort of embracing leftist.
It was in her
now.
ad. It was in Kat's ad.
Okay. But I think, to answer your question, I think the Epstein class has radicalized people in a way that previously, we couldn't have imagined, because now they see like the harsh truth of class politics in a way that they couldn't have conceived of before, where they're like actually pedophile, rapist, sadists, and they're all working in tandem with each other, and they show class solidarity. And I think that made a lot of people go, oh, like, those are the villains. It's not the trans people. It's not the immigrants. It's not black people. It's not liberal. Like, they are the villain, and it's crystallized now. So to answer your question, I think when Trump's gone, there might be like a slight reduction in the sort of anger that we're seeing now. But at the same time, there's so many other villains. I mean, shit, Stephen Miller gets people just as pissed off as Donald Trump does. Elon Musk gets people just as Kristi Noem. Like, they're all so demonic that I'm not sure. I think this might be here to stay, this sort of revolutionary energy. And you saw, the right had their Tea Party moment, and then the Tea Party parlayed itself into MAGA, right? And so now we're going to see the left-wing Tea Party, and that's going to parlay itself into what? President Graham Plattner, who's based and delivers and is the next FDR. I think we could be on the precipice of something incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now at News Nation has J.D. Vance's punchable ass face on there. And, that's who they're going to probably put up. And he inspires a lot of hatred and disgust as well. And
I think it's Rubio.
You think it's Rubio? I don't know. We'll see. Since Teal is back J.D. Vance and, the tech oligarchs are like in control, I still think it'll probably be J.D. Vance, but who knows? Anyway, either one of them is very much hated, although I do think J.D. Vance is probably hated a little bit harder than Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
But I think you're right to identify the danger here, that you could have someone like a Gavin Newsom who is sort of rhetorically fierce in certain ways that's appealing to people. But I come back to that clip we played with Kat and Daniel Biss and that other lady. And it just becomes very clear when you have them all lined up together and they're asked direct questions and one person has a direct answer and the other ones are all flailing around and trying to wordsmith it and, use some focus tested answer to gloss over what they actually think. I just don't think people are buying that anymore, And the other piece is that the mechanisms of manufacturing consent, namely MSNBC and CNN and the New York Times and the Washington Post, that worked so effectively in 2016 and worked again so effectively in 2020, they just don't have the juice that they used to. This time it's going to be people like Jennifer Welch. It's going to be the Pod Save Bros who are with Abdul. It's going to be us, who are helping to shape, and the Midas Touch guys who have turned out to be pretty decent. That they're going to be the ones shaping the narrative about who the party actually needs. And that gives me confidence that we're going to end up in a better place. But the risk is definitely there, no doubt about it.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now.